From the internet to the streets, a new generation of activists is gathering force, demanding a better future. Activate is at the heart of this global movement, following them as they resist traditional authority and bring about social change. This week, Viridiana Martinez in the United States. She's come out publicly as an illegal immigrant and works tirelessly to stop the deportation of the millions like her.
Senator Hagan, we demand an explanation. I, as your constituent, as a person who pays taxes, as a person who is raised here, as a North Carolinian, as a woman, I demand an answer. And I demand an explanation for why you voted no and denied the dreams of 51,000 undocumented kids who are now crying home, who will now graduate and have absolutely no hope. And I'm tired of being spoken.
My name is Viridiana Martinez. I'm from North Carolina in the United States, and that's me on stage.
In Wade County, in Lee County.
I've come out publicly as an illegal immigrant, which is how my government likes to label me. I'm not classed as a citizen, and I have no legal papers to be here. My undocumented status means I am unofficially tolerated, but I am always at risk of deportation at any time.
This is my home, and by taking the right to an education from me, by criminalizing me and my parents,
My family came into the country on the promise of a better future that has never materialized.
We are undocumented, we are unafraid, and this is our story, and we're human beings.
Can we just... I'm gonna go here, then I'm going straight upstairs.
Can we just walk with you real quick to have just a quick...
Why am I doing this? I want people like me, and there's millions of us, to have the right to continue living in the U.S. I'm part of an organization that's training, organizing, and campaigning to protect ourselves and others from deportation. We're trying to change the law so that we can become citizens of the only country that we know as home.
We're just trying to live like people, go to school, have a job, not live in fear. And so this is part of that, dropping that fear.
We will protect our communities. We're here, and we're not going to give up, and we're not going to stop.
As an undocumented immigrant, I'm tolerated, but only as long as I stay in the shadows. Something as simple as getting a speeding ticket can make me visible and trigger deportation proceedings. This is how I have to live. I'm undocumented because both my parents are. They brought my sister and me into the U.S. when we were very young. Like so many immigrants, they were just searching for a better life.
We are in downtown Sanford, and this is basically it. Like, it's a couple blocks, that's it. So this is the high school where I graduated from, Lee County High School. I graduated in 2004.
It's an odd situation. As a child, I was able to go to high school, but once I turned 18, my local university wouldn't recognize me as a resident, insisting I apply as a foreign student. This would have required a trip to Mexico to get a visa, and because of my status, I wouldn't have been able to return.
I remember walking across that field on graduation day, and my family was here. And I remember I was wearing this dress, my cap, my gown, And when my name was called, yeah, I remember walking up and being smiley, and you know, I felt good. I felt good about myself because I'd made it through high school. But I mean, it was just that feeling of what's next, you know? What am I gonna do next? I mean, I worked this hard, but for nothing really, because 7 years later, here I am.
My father lost his job in Mexico and came to the States to look for work. He ended up working in the tobacco fields of North Carolina. He told me it was the hardest job he had ever done, working 16-hour days. But he earned enough to send for my mother, my sister, and me in 1994. I was 7 when we came in on tourist visas, and we've been here ever since. My parents still live in Sanford, and they're also undocumented. They don't have the right to vote, but they work and pay taxes. They also live in legal limbo, in the hope that one day they will become legal citizens.
Mamita. Mamita. Hola.
Oh, me está tomando y le traigo el cabello.
Oh, she's gotta change. My dad gets mad because he calls me and says, ¿Quién es mi hija? Like, who are you? What daughter? I don't know what daughter that is. Because he says I don't come home enough.
Los hijos no nacen con un
Owner's manual?
instructivo bajo el brazo, ¿verdad? Nunca sabe uno el tipo de carácter que va a salir.
Pues que ella es muy fuerte de carácter. Tiene, no le da miedo a nada.
Viridiana, pues es muy inquieta. Yo le digo que ella se case para que nos dé nietos, pero pues no. No quiere, dice que hasta que no goce la vida.
Nos ha preocupado mucho el que ella esté bien en los lugares donde ella está. Y tenemos mucho miedo también por eso, ¿verdad?
Para mí, yo hubiera querido que mi nieta fuera un estudiante sobresaliente, que saliera adelante, que hiciera su carrera para ayudar a sus hermanos, a sus papás. Pero pues veo que no se va a poder.
La gente no se siente segura. We feel targeted, you know? Entonces son cosas que nosotros les tenemos que hacer saber a ellos y tenemos que perder el miedo. Perder el miedo es algo que en el ser indocumentado es algo que no se dice en nuestras familias, es algo que no se dice en la calle, es algo que quizás se hable entre la familia, quizás, pero nosotros como jóvenes es una realidad distinta. No hablamos con nuestros amigos, quizás a veces ni nuestros mejores amigos sepan.
A lot of my time is spent campaigning to get the DREAM Act passed. It's a bill that will give young people like myself a pathway to citizenship.
Estas deportaciones que están pasando, es tiempo de parar esas deportaciones. Es tiempo de organizarnos como comunidad.
I'm part of a national movement made up of undocumented young people like me. We're often referred to as the Dreamers, putting pressure on politicians to pass legislation like the DREAM Act. I'm one of the founders of the North Carolina Dream Team.
Yeah, I mean, my car needs new tires, it needs brakes, if you can hear it. It needs an oil change. Yeah, like I could probably get a GPS too.
We're grassroots activists trying to change the situation for millions out there at risk of deportation. It's vital we get the message out to as many people as possible.
So this is Justin Vargas. Actually, no, it's Justin Vallis. We call him Vargas because a newspaper got his last name wrong and said he was undocumented, but he's actually not.
I've been running most of the Twitter account since like a year ago. I also do a lot of like policy analysis because I like sitting and reading long PDFs of boring government documents.
And as an ally, as someone who was born in this country, it was like a huge privilege check, just the whole like concept that I grew up knowing that I would go to college. Once I realized that there were people that didn't even have that option, it was just like it stopped me in my tracks.
It only gets harder. It sucks as you're getting older because you're seeing your friends move up and starting, you know, in my case, like I'm freaking 25 years old. By now I really thought my life would have been different. Then, you know, you see your friends who are documented having their weddings, and all of this might seem like, you know, childish, girly stuff, but it's not. It's a huge, your life just stops. You're like, I feel a lot of times like you're just stuck. You can't go backward and you can't move forward even as hard as you push. You know, you're stuck.
As well as getting our message out, we also try and stop undocumented young people from getting deported.
Yes.
Eric Velasquillo has lived in the United States most of his life. Like me, he's undocumented, which means he can't even legally obtain a driver's license.
We want to let other youth know that they can do this. They don't have to be scared of deportation because we can stop this deportation and we have the power to do so because we believe in everything that we're doing.
There's like the full smile, but I can actually clean that up with Photoshop when I get back home. So
that one's good.
Yeah.
Last year in October, I got pulled over for having high beams on, and I was basically arrested for having no license. And now I'm facing for July 19.
Eric's arrest triggered the start of his deportation proceedings. If he loses his case, he will be deported in less than a month to Mexico, separating him from his parents and sister, forcing him to live in a country he does not know.
All this is actually worth fighting for, to stay here, because I mean, I really don't have anything over there. I mean, I lived here my entire life. Came here when I was 2.
Being caught for being undocumented is a constant threat. So the Dream Team also trains others on what to do if they get arrested.
Y también otra cosa que se tiene que hacer es nunca admitir culpabilidad al uso de documentos falsos, o sea, de papeles falsos o de papeles que no sean de nosotros. No se dice nada. Se dice, I want to speak to my lawyer. No de que eres ilegal, I want to speak to my lawyer.
In the United States, the situation for immigrants today is very hard. I think that a lot of people don't, see it as this issue of, oh, people want to come here to get a better life.
Ese día que estábamos nosotros tuvimos que firmar porque pues nuestros hijos quién va a querer que nos los quiten, ¿verdad? Entonces tuvimos que firmar ese papel.
What is driving you here in the first place? What is at the root of that migration? And at that root of that migration is that there are no jobs, that there is no money, and the cause of that has to do with a lot of these policies.
Every time we protest, we put ourselves at risk, and if arrested, we can trigger deportation proceedings. But it's the only way to get the message about our situation out there.
This is the state of things from the American Tobacco Historic District. I'm Frank Stasio. If you're passing through downtown Raleigh, you may see 3 tents pitched at the corner of Lane and Wilmington Streets. It's a busy spot near the Legislative Building and not far from Democratic Senator Kay Hagan's office, and that is important. Since June 14th, this makeshift camp has been home to 3 undocumented Latina students, Viridiana Martinez, Rosario Lopez, and Luida Silva.
Last year, 3 of us from the Dream Team went on hunger strike. The DREAM Act was coming up for a vote in the US Senate, and we wanted our Democratic Senator Kay Hagan to support it. It was the only way I could think of putting pressure on her.
All three of you are here in this country right now illegally, is that right?
That's right.
Yes.
We did it because we knew we wanted to create awareness and we wanted to create the sense of urgency. We are here to say, look, we have done everything in the book and now we are non-violently and you know, as people saying, we're starving.
After 13 days, Loida got really sick. People thought we were crazy, but this is what it took to get people to listen to us. A few months later, Congress was voting on the DREAM Act. If it passed, young people like me could become legal citizens. It was our chance to push for change, so we headed for Washington, D.C. News started slowly leaking out, and it was amazing the vote was going our way. Even Republicans were voting for us. And then Senator Kay Hagan voted against the DREAM Act. I couldn't believe it. When our own Democratic senator, someone who is considered to be in support of immigrant rights, votes against the DREAM Act, we knew we had an uphill battle ahead.
On you, we have a dream. Shame on you. We have a dream. Shame on you. We have a dream. Shame on you. We have a dream.
The struggle still continues. Today we're going to hit the North Carolina legislature to try and build support for Eric's case. His deportation hearing is coming up soon.
There is a student from his district who is in deportation proceedings and that we need his help and that we will be dropping off. And then if he starts asking questions, well, then we go with it.
Okay. We managed to find Eric's representative and wanted him to add his support to the deportation case.
Hi, how are you? Hi,
Rick
Representative Killian.
Nice
How
to
are
meet
you?
you.
My name is Viridiana with the NC Dream Team.
Where did you say you go to school?
I'm currently not in school. I'm actually undocumented.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm one of the 51,000 undocumented youth in the state of North Carolina that would benefit from the DREAM Act. Currently, there is a student in your district, Eric Velasquillo, and he was recently pulled over for driving with an expired license. And Eric is now in deportation proceedings. And so we need your help in order to stop his deportation.
Why would you want to stop his deportation?
Because this is his home, because this is where he grew up and he wants to go to school.
What can I do? What's the situation? How can the state legislature affect this?
Yeah, I mean, a way that you can help is simply to write like a letter asking Senator Kay Hagan to call DHS, to call the Department of Homeland Security, Assistant Secretary John Morton, and to ask him to stop the deportation of Eric Velasquillo. That's basically all that we're asking.
I would say that I think we are a nation of laws, and we have to follow those laws.
We're also a nation of dreams, and what happened to that?
It's not.
It wasn't, you know, we're here, we grew up here.
Well,
what are we supposed to do?
I've said my position on this issue. I wish you all the best. I understand, I empathize with the situation, and it's not a good situation. It's not a good situation for anyone.
It's not, but sometimes we have to go further than the empathizing and taking, you know, that empathizing and putting it into actions.
Okay, good luck.
I have good days and bad, but I can't let it get in the way of the larger picture. Even though the DREAM Act is not yet law, the point is to live my life as if it is.
Yeah, totally. Or like to help with even now, like.
In addition to Facebook and Twitter, we just set up a Tumblr account that we can also use. And so, like, if you search through here, you can see that there are a lot of undocumented youth that are using it.
Back at Dream Team headquarters, we need to plan the next stage of the campaign to stop Eric from being deported. Social media is a vital tool for us.
So that's one thing, and then here we go. Let's double check. I think our Twitter list actually grew in the past couple days too. So let's see.
Being undocumented and with the threat of deportation hanging over you, it can feel really scary. So I try to give as much support as I can.
I mean, it felt great knowing that like I have two options, or like it's like saying that like it doesn't matter which road you take, like we'll be there. It's not like being afraid, but it's like tired of like just kind of like being stuck. And for with my parents, it's like they did so much for us to have like a chance, and to know like that like you can't do anything about it.
We're in limbo, we're stuck, and that's not our fault. But what we can do about it is, you know, move forward in the sense of not being victims anymore and being fighters and fighting back and saying, you know what, Mom and Dad, I'm honoring your sacrifice right now by coming out. You're not saying, I'm signing this and leaving, you're staying. And that, for doing that, you are honoring what your parents have done for you.
Today's the day, the one we've been working so hard for. If Eric loses his case, he could be deported within a month.
You've made it this far, so you did it. Like, if you would have said no, we wouldn't be here.
You know, we're good or bad, like, we're still gonna be there 100% behind you.
Yes. We are coming in for the first time to this immigration court here in Charlotte, so we're coming in strong, we're ready, and yeah, he's not going anywhere without a fight.
He could, but he probably won't. What I've asked for is 2 years to either one...
It's not the deferral we were hoping for. He's still in legal limbo and can still be picked up and deported without warning.
So if we had the DREAM Act, I could hand the judge an application and we could, you know, get Eric his residency and we'd be done with this, so.
I mean, I'm not giving up on this, and I'm just gonna keep on fighting. So I'm just gonna look positive and stay positive as I've been the entire time.
Let's hold everyone accountable and go to the root of the issue and not criminalize people like Eric or people like me or our parents even, point the finger at them because of a broken economic system of an illegal immigration system.
It's both a victory and a reaffirmation that the struggle continues.
You believed that, you know, that there was a possibility, that there was an opportunity, and it was your courage and your determination that fueled our work to support you.
You're part of the movement now, man. You're a fighter now.
In case you didn't know.
You brought yourself along now. You're stuck.
You're here with us.
We know that we're a part of this, you know, global movement of young people that are challenging the establishment, you know, their governments. Things are going wrong and we're taking a stand and we're saying no. You know, we're not going to let this happen. And in our case, it's, you know, immigration, and we're being deported, we're being criminalized, and we're living in fear, and we're taking a stand.